How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to our show. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about micro real estate investing and 11 ways the pandemic has changed our lives at home forever. Now, if I were to guess how much Shawn's suit costs, I would not guess $150.
Hey, don't sleep on Charles Tyrwhitt. You know, they have these sales every once in a while. $150.
Even if the suit is like terrible quality, if it fits and if it's $150,
guys, I mean, the thing is, you're going to tailor. It's probably going to cost more than the suit itself. But I mean, why not? I bought another one. I'll wear next week. It's a sweet one too. So, bought 3 suits for $700 and tailored them all. Good stuff, man. You can't sleep on the suits. You gotta get new ones all the time. You know.
I'm looking into the summer suits, like a linen suit. Because the wool it's so heavy.
It's hot, especially, man, when it starts getting super humid and you're walking around. Oh, it's tough.
Should we just talk about suits for the entire show?
I could.
Would people enjoy that? Because we can go in depth.
You know what? All right, so let me show you something. So this right here, no belt. I was always like
the mic.
I was always against never having a belt, right?
You were against not having a belt.
Felt like,
so you always wanted to have a belt.
Yeah, so I felt like not having a belt was almost like, ooh, that's kind of weird, right? You match your shoes to your belt. So I was in Charles Tyrwhitt the other day, and they're like, oh, these are European suits. So this is like an English suit. And he's like, there's no belts. There's just these little things on the side that you tighten it with. And I was like, all right, I could get down with that. I'll try it out, you know? And actually, I dig it.
It's stylish. You know, the no belt look is good, especially, not trying to say anything, but especially if you want to add height to your figure, because a belt breaks up your torso into two, where if you don't have the belt, there's no visual impediment, and it makes you look taller.
No, see that? I'm 6'2" today.
There you go. Okay, so our first article is entitled Making Real Estate Investing Available to Everyone Just Made Easier. Making real estate investing available to everyone just got made easier. Basically, what the article, weird title, what the article entails is a way where everyday people can invest in real estate. Now, if you're investing in real estate, you know, that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I think a lot of people out there, Shawn, want to invest in real estate, but they don't want to be a landlord, or they don't want to buy or fixer-upper, or they don't want to negotiate with a contractor or be a property manager. They want to have part of their portfolio invested in real estate, and, you know, maybe more hands-on than specifically like a real estate stock.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more hands-on than that. And this article goes about a company called EquityDoor. And there's multiple companies out there like this where essentially you go on EquityDoor.com, you know, you get signed up with them, get checked out, and they bring you deals. Some of the minimum investments, and that's another barrier to entry. Yeah. You want to flip a house? Okay. Do you have a hard money lender? Do you have, you know, $50,000 lying around for, you know, closing costs and you know, expenses and things like that? So it'll detail whether it's a single family home, a multi-unit development, a storage facility, a commercial area, maybe even a high-end vacation rental. And, you know, sometimes the minimum investments are $2,000. Sometimes the minimum investments are $20,000. So there's definitely a versatility there where it's more hands-on than just a regular stock, because you're going to get your money back quicker and possibly at a higher return, and they go through the returns as well. But it's not as hands-on as going out and flipping a property on your own. What do you think about this micro investing real estate strategy?
I love it. I think the problem with real estate investing, as you know, us, right? If I want to flip a property, what's the biggest hurdle? It's money, right? In this area especially, you're looking at properties minimum $500,000 for a single family. If you can find one at that price, $600,000. So it's always going to be the money. So now you're not only giving these people that need the money, or going the different route from hard money, because hard money is very expensive, you're giving investors that have $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 that want to get into this, give them a little piece of the pie. And, you know, let's just say investing in real estate is a lot of fun, but it can also be very risky, as we see when markets fall. But right now the markets are insane. So if you would invest it in some of these things and you got a portion of the actual return, depending on how this actually goes, you know, your return on investment right now is probably huge. But then all markets can fall. So yeah, part of the biggest stresses of flipping properties is finding the right contractors, finding all the supplies. So if somebody's doing all of that stuff for you, you're just like, hey, here's the money, make me some money.
And they find the deal. They find the deal.
That's
the hardest thing is you don't want to go to a fixer-upper, fall in love with it, and the numbers not add up. Shawn and I went to a fixer-upper the other day, and I think I might have fallen in love with it.
Matt was calling me late night. He's like,
hey,
I don't know, man. I'm thinking about this.
Can I make the numbers work on this? Maybe I'll rent out the bed. I didn't tell my girlfriend about it.
I will. She only has to watch this video to find
But at the same time, like, maybe I don't want to buy an $800,000 townhouse and then have a tenant in the basement, and that just gets messy.
Yeah.
And so at EquityDoor, and maybe at some of these other companies as well, it goes on to say in the article, 100% of investments are equity backed, so you can never lose 100% of your investment. And this, there's a new crowdfund. It's essentially crowdfunding real estate deals. Allows companies to raise up to $5 million from the general public, as opposed to $1.07 million previously. And you know what? You don't have to be an accredited investor. You know, you hear guys like Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez say, hey, you know, got this 400 unit, you know, multifamily building in Texas for $200 million. Accredited investors, like, reach out to me. Like, you know,
and those guys are like, you need $100,000 to get in, right? So this is so cool to me, because there's so many people that would love to get into this. They just don't have the $100,000 that you need to get in. So now it's $5,000. It's you know, this is the future. I think this is really cool. It's just kind of like, you know, the Bitcoin of real estate, right? Of selling real estate. It's awesome.
Yeah. So what are we seeing in terms of millennial investment preferences?
Yeah.
It's Robinhood. It's the one-click trade. It's cryptocurrency. It's something easy. Now, obviously with cryptocurrency, with any stock, more volatile. But with real estate investing, now you're breaking down the barriers of entry, and essentially you have the one-tap investment where, you know, we can go out and invest in a storage facility in Las Vegas or a housing development in Colorado without, you know, getting boots on the ground.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that there's varying time lengths, or how would that work? Because, you know, hey, I want to invest in this flip, and it's going to take a year, and your rate of return is X. Or I want to invest in this this hotel that I could invest for 15 years, and I'm going to see an inflating, or, you know, rate of return over those years.
It lays out all that.
That's pretty cool.
It lays out,
awesome.
You know, expected rate of return, any sort of fees involved, dividends if that's an option. So it brings you the deal, you bring the cash, and you know, depending on the timeline, you know, you get the money back plus a little extra.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, just think about how many people are speculating on Dogecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Why not throw, you know, $2,000, $5,000 at a deal?
Yeah.
And you know, I want to say that these deals are better than, you know, I don't want to say cryptocurrency, because we just did a video about Ethereum. Ethereum was at 2,500. Now it's at 3,500.
Yeah.
So I think long term, it's more of a stable and safe investment rather than these short-term crypto gains.
I agree.
All right, guys, our second topic is about 11 ways the pandemic has changed our home lives forever. And we've kind of touched on this, but I like this article a little bit better because it goes into a little bit more detail on specific things inside the house, as well as a new word that I don't think you've heard of. I've never heard of it. I've seen it in action. You actually had a listing at 820 Pollard, the Hawthorne, that had the first thing on this list, which is a Cloffice, basically a closet that has been turned into an office. Now, we need to be careful because in condos, in some townhouses, in some houses, closets are of the utmost importance. But if you can figure out a way to create a room, or maybe you have a walk-in closet, you can squeeze a desk in there. You don't want to be like Ryan from The Office and, have a janitor closet as your office. But having a home office and creating an office out of a closet is a hot new trend right now.
Oh, it's awesome. And yeah, that was in the Hawthorne. I remember such a cool little feature. And that's what, as condo sellers, right, in this area, we are always trying to think of ways to maximize your space. And this is exactly it. The Cloffice. I never heard it called that, but I love it. Cloffice. There's like stores now that are, especially in New York, that go for this kind of buyer that create small space offices, small space furniture. So I love it. Yeah, man.
The next item on the list is a real home office. We've talked about it before. People had offices just maybe in name only, but now it's real home offices. The third thing is a victory garden. Now, Shawn, I'm trying to figure out what the word victory means. Victory gardens first became a thing around 100 years ago during World War II, when Americans at home were urged to contribute by growing vegetables in every flower pot available. So
Cool, so
basically
they're
growing your
their
own
own-
vegetables.
I'd love to do that. Yeah.
I went to the Monroe in Arlington a couple days ago, and on the rooftop, they're growing basil, they're growing thyme, they're growing mint.
That's awesome.
It's like they have their own, Trader Joe's vegetable aisle up there.
It's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to, I love the concept of a garden, growing your own things. I kind of grew up kind of doing that, but in the end, it gets kind of messy and makes your yard look ugly, and that's kind of why I don't do it, but I'd love to be able to do it.
If you have like a little balcony or a controlled environment, or
Yeah.
you can create like a wooden barrel or whatever and throw some plants in there. I'm all about living things. Which brings us to the fourth thing, the indoor plant craze. There's something to be said about having like a living thing in your apartment, in your condo, in a house. It's like this life,
Remember that tree in my house?
Oh gosh. Yeah.
This thing was this big
Yeah.
for years, and then all of a sudden it just exploded, and now it's taking over my living room.
And didn't it have like some weird bugs or something, or is that?
Oh, that was
a
one.
different one.
All right, so I've tried to do this. I've had some fruit trees in the past, and I was like, I think my brother bought, or yeah, whatever. I had fruit trees. I had them outside, and you can't bring those things inside because then the insects will come alive and take over. So we learned that quickly.
Come on, Kevin.
I know,
Hey,
Kevin.
get a
What are you
better
doing,
gift
man?
than that,
He was
man.
like, "Hey, here's a peach
He
tree.
just
Can you
gave
save
you
it?"
free
He didn't
bugs.
even give it to me. He was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I started growing this thing. I don't know what to do with it, so here." And then then I had it in my house
He's just
trying to save
pawning
it.
off something he doesn't want to you. All right, so the fifth topic is closing off open floor plans, and this one's interesting because I think people want the best of both worlds. So how do you do that? The photo has like a sheet covering it between an open floor plan, living and dining area, and then also, I don't know if you call it barn doors, but maybe retractable. Are those
Sliding doors.
Sliding doors.
Yeah, sliding barn doors that'll come out like successfully and create that.
I mean,
new
not
space.
everyone has a place that they can just have
Right.
doors that go into the drywall. But certainly, thinking more about dedicated spaces rather than like knocking
Open
down every
concept.
single
Yeah.
wall. Number 6, supersized outdoor spaces. Obviously, we've covered this before. Just getting outside was so refreshing in 2020. I'm curious. There's just so many bugs in this area. Like, you have the open door, have the outdoor space, but you better have a bug defense.
Yeah, well, and I was just saying that the other day. Mosquitoes, man. Like when you're outside, my wife just gets clobbered by mosquitoes. They go right after. I could stand there like this. And she's like, but Mosquito Joe or those companies that'll spray for mosquitoes. A lot of people are against them. I get it, but there are certain companies that are environmentally friendly. They're not using chemicals. They're using fragrances and things like that. And that's who we used in the past in our house. So we used to live at Lake Barcroft, and Lake Barcroft is a little bit wetter, and like there were mosquitoes. You had to spray for those. So now in Arlington, I'm like, am I going to do that this year? My neighbor's going to be pissed that I'm spraying for mosquitoes, but man, I got to live outside. So I'm doing it.
Got to do what you got to do. Number 7, hardworking kitchens. We've touched on this before. Basically, people are investing more money into their kitchen renovations. I'm torn on this one because the article says, yeah, we're working at home. We're at home. We used to go out a lot. Now we're cooking a lot. I don't know if it's just a phase, but I am ordering out so much. Like, if I look at my DoorDash receipts, it's insane. I keep the lights on at DoorDash.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Who wants to work all day, come home, cook, eat in about 5 minutes, the thing that took you 45 minutes to cook, eat it, and then you have to clean up, another 20 minutes to clean all the dishes? It's horrible. And I think it's like almost... it's in the past, right? So every once in a while I could see doing that, but it's so time consuming. Let's just order out because you can have it delivered in 3 minutes. I mean, especially in Arlington, we have so many restaurants and choices. Now, if we lived out in the country where everybody's moving to for some reason, you better think twice about that.
Better renovate your kitchen.
Yeah, renovate your kitchen.
Get a hard-working kitchen.
And I'll tell you this, with my kitchen, we have a separate dining room. We have our kitchen. We don't really have table. We use kind of the half side of our other half side as like a family room. So we have a large island, and we use that island to eat on, which I think is awesome. I mean, save the table space, create a big island. It creates a lot of cooking space for you, and then a great eating space.
Yeah, and I do think people do enjoy cooking, and people love the art of like preparing it and making it. And my girlfriend loves cooking, but the thing is, she works at a jail from 9 to 5, and that's like mentally exhausting. She comes home exhausted as anyone would, and there's some days where it's just so taxing, where a couple buttons and the food arrives. But certainly having an upscale kitchen, updated, renovated kitchen, more focus on the kitchen is something that is in vogue right now.
When you have the time and the headspace, I love to cook, but yeah.
Number 8, dedicated sweat areas.
Mm-hmm.
I think that some people may have had a room like this, like a utility room or a bonus room, or if you're blessed enough to have a bonus room, right? Yep. That they just never did anything with, or maybe it was just storage. I think that now it's like, okay, let's put the Peloton in there, or let's put the treadmill in there.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have a little sunroom off the side of my master bedroom, and there's no furniture in it. The only thing in there is a mat and a couple weights, and I get up in the morning, and I try to get there in that room. It's nice and sunny. It's got, it wakes you up, and you can get a quick workout. You don't have to work out long, just as long as you get the basics in for about 20 minutes. That's all you need. Just get the blood flowing, and you know what? It gets you in such a better mood. If I don't do it, I feel such angst, right? But if I just go in and lift it, get that blood flowing, get that angst out, much better. Do it.
Gotta get it out. Number 9, hands-free everything. Now, the photo shows someone, touching a sensor of a kitchen sink. Shawn, my brother did a renovation of a condo, and he got the hands-free kitchen faucet where you touch the stem of the kitchen sink and the water comes out. I had no idea that you could touch it. Like, there's a handle there also. I was just using the handle, and then the contractor was like, hey, let me show you something cool. Abracadabra, touches the little handle, and water comes out. I don't want to sound like a grandpa, in 1997 with the internet, but I had no idea that this would work. It seemed counterintuitive to me. It seemed not user-friendly. When you go to the airport and they have the sensors you can never get it to work. You got to do like a little dance to get it to work.
I hate it.
Then when it does come on, it comes on. You're like, okay, finally. You go to the soap, and then it shuts back off.
Matt, you're showing your age, man.
I know. I know. I'm gonna sound like a grandpa. I'm ignorant to it, so maybe it's on for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because you could easily bump into it, walk away from it, and it just sits there and runs. What if you have a stopper in your sink and it just overflows?
No, I'm sure there's a cutoff.
Yeah,
there's got to be a cutoff. And
thinking of that, one thing that I like about the condo buildings lately, like your building downstairs, is you just wave your hand in front of a little sensor and the doors open. They open really slow, which drives me crazy, and this is what drives me. Sorry, going off the subject a little bit, but certain condos have these doors that if you push, it's like you're pushing against a wall, and it's like these automatic doors that don't really work. Like, why would you install those things? Either open them quickly, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. Anyways.
Yeah, so I do think the more hands-free, I think this will catch on.
Yeah, I think
I'm
hands-free is
just-
the way to go anymore.
I'm kind of doing a bit, but
Yeah.
like I'm kind of serious
You're
too.
old school, dog.
Number 10, choosing the DIY.
Mhm.
Do it yourself.
DIY.
They said do, is that?
It.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they meant do it yourself. This article has some grammatical errors. Choosing the DIY route over in-person professional help. They show someone painting.
I'm gonna say don't
yeah.
paint yourself.
Well, here's the deal.
If you're
You have to paint once to realize that you never want to paint again. I have some clients, they moved into a house in Falls Church. They're painting the whole thing. I said, that sounds great. Good luck.
Call me. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're gonna hate life. And honestly, I've done this in the past. I was like, oh, I'll just do it quickly. It's not much. My wrist hurt by the end of the day. My lines were horrible.
Your back, your knees.
I don't know how those guys do it every
And then
day.
you see the part where you messed up, and then
think
you like
you did it real sweet.
look at that
Oh, yeah.
spot every time you walk into the house.
And the other thing is, a lot of times, you get the blue tape and you'll tape up the walls real nice, and then you tape, and then you paint, and you probably paint over those lines a little too hard, and then when you pull it up, it looks horrible. Don't do it yourself. Have fun at home.
Yeah.
Painting,
maybe if you do like a room, I think a room.
Yeah,
is
if you're gonna
nice.
do a room, that's fine. If you're doing it for resale, no.
like an accent wall.
Yeah.
In my bedroom, a light has been out in my closet for over a year. I just never gotten it fixed. I've tried to, and it's not something like Matt replace the light bulb or Matt like replace the face. So what I did was I replaced the light bulb and I flipped the on-off switch on the fuse box. That's as much as I'm gonna do for DIY electrical.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is make a list of things like. In my bathroom, the towel holder is like not on the wall. Came out like 2 years ago. So what I'm gonna do and how I like to spend my weekends is to make a list of things to do, and then call a handyman, and then go play golf, and then go hang out with my puppy, or go do something else. So. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm all for DIY for certain things, and as I'm getting older in my low 30s, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to buy time. So
Yeah.
maybe you're passionate about projects, maybe you're passionate about painting. That's great. I'm passionate about free time.
Yep.
Number 11, Mudroom makeovers. I absolutely love this one. Sometimes I catch myself just like hating on things like the touchless thing, the DIY. I want to make sure that I'm not just like an old man, yelling at the sky. I think, having a really epic mudroom,
Yeah.
that's kind of like a game changer because, you got dogs, you might have kids, you might, I toured one house and it had like a dog bath,
yep.
like right at the mudroom. That's an incredible amenity. I mean,
It is.
I hope to see that, not selfishly because I now have a dog, but I hope and I think we'll see dog baths in mudrooms throughout many houses in the future.
Yeah, and now that life is getting outside more, thankfully. I mean, these kids have been, how long have kids been taught to be inside and just playing on their computer? Now life is outside the way it should be. They're going to need these mudrooms. We have a mudroom, and the funny thing is, I wish the mudroom was like at the front of the house because it's in the garage, and we rarely come through the garage. So like we have all this stuff stacked up, but don't sleep on the mudrooms, man. The mudrooms are amazing. Storage, putting all your shoes somewhere. You walk through, you throw your dirty shoes in there. Yeah, I mean, and they're getting nicer and nicer, right? So that thing right there looks beautiful.
So the article says some owners added a washer and dryer to the mudroom. These owners might have. I'm not sure how prevalent it is for owners to add a washer and dryer. It's kind of difficult to just add a washer and dryer to a random room in your house.
That's a lot of plumbing.
Am I wrong?
It's a lot of plumbing, and it depends on what your house is like. I mean, I'd much rather have my laundry up on the bedroom level where all your laundry is.
Because some houses, you're just stuck with wherever the washer and dryer.
Yeah,
so if the washer and dryer is on the first floor and you're on the third floor, guess what? Every day is leg day.
Every day's leg day, or else you hire an electrician that's got to run that whole line somewhere, which is not easy to do.
Yeah, different plug.
Yeah, totally different plug.
Cool. Well, those were 11 little changes to pandemic life. That's
changed our lives forever, this whole pandemic. And, the question now I have is like, are we going to go back to work? This is the big question I think that a lot of people are having. I'm hearing from some people that, hey, we're going back in June. We're going back to work. And then I talked to a guy doing my settlement this morning. He's like, I'm hearing people aren't even going back to work. You know, these companies are able to work remotely. We're not going back. So I'm hearing different things. I'd love to hear what your jobs are doing. If you're going back to work, if you're going back hybrid, if you're going back full time, or if you're not going back at all, because there's a lot of people investing in large homes way out. And if they got to start commuting, I've said this many times, they're going to hate life. I mean, the yards and the big houses are sweet, but man, that commute is not worth it.
You got to follow up with all your clients that live out there and just say, hey, how's it going?
My business has now moved to Dumfries.
Yeah.
You know? Dumfries and Aldi and all those places that I've never been. So,
yeah. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. We'd love to know your thoughts. Be sure to drop a comment in the comment section below. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. And be sure to subscribe to get Shawn to 500 subscribers. I think you're at 491.
491. And you know what? That's all just hard work. And Matt and I coming out with different stuff every week. Matt doing a lot of work on the behind the scenes, getting those videos up.
You know, if 9 people that are not subscribed just subscribe right now, we could hit 500.
That's right.
Hopefully 9 people are watching at this point of the 28-minute video.
I hope so.
All right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.